friends, just wanted to randomly record a little video detailing my process of making beats on the octatrack. I love it. It has a very particular way of working. I have a very particular way of working on it that involves 4 tracks of sliced samples. So if we go to the slices view, you can see that, like on track 1, there's 15 different samples that you can play, etc. Track 2, 16. Usually it's 16. Track 3 is 16. And then track 4 is also 16. Track 1 has kicks. Track 2 has snares. Track 3 has hi-hats. And track 4 has some random other percussion. And then track 5 usually has a single sample. But in this case, yeah, usually track 5 is my ride cymbal or open hi-hat. And in this case, it's another instance of this same multi-sample, the hi-hats, but it's pitched differently, and it's playing a different role. It's kind of being an open hi-hat right now, so if I play it by itself. Bring the kick in. Adjusting decay. Yeah. So I have a little beat program, but we'll start over. My usual stuff. I have the scene crossfader usually set to some kind of master filter or like delay wash or something. Right now it's currently bringing all the track sample playback rates down to 0, so like that. Which is pretty, you can kind of like cut things out, slowly bring them in, that kind of thing. Now I also have, on the master track, I have the freeze delay, so let's clear this pattern and we can start over. And yeah. So in the slices page, I usually start by programming in, there's a couple different ways to approach the sliced kind of multi-sampled thing. You can either kind of play it in live, so if I add the metronome, go into live play mode, I could go. It's a little distorted where it's distorting more than a little bit. It's a little more polite. Tune it down. So you can do this, and what I just did was live play them in, and then each step is parameter locked to a certain slice. But the other way you can do it is I can select a slice to kind of be the default slice, and then I can program in a beat and play it, and then I can change the whole sound of it. Since these aren't parameter locked, they're just using the default track sample. Change our kick sound as we go. So sometimes a way to do this would be to program in kind of the 4/4 kick like this, 139 BPM. And then add in some accents with P-locks, so. Right? So now these two trigs are parameter locked, and if I change the track's default sample, it won't change the parameter lock trig, so. So this, but, those are staying the same, but the 4/4 is changing. So often for these accent trigs, I will give them a trig condition and lower volume. So I'm just gonna set this to like 50%. Same here. and then we get occasional fills. And I'm going to hold down these two trigs and go to volume and turn them down a bit so it's a little bit more like a ghost note. That's pretty nice. So then I'd add snares. Again, you can program them in. So here's the same thing I was just doing. I can make these accent notes. So it's really hard to do at this angle. I will just add some trig conditions. And then I will lower the volume. Yep. Great. And since I didn't play any of these in live playing mode, I can use the default sample on the track to change the sound. Maybe I want most of them to be slice 5, but I want this one to be slice 4 when it hits, so that it'll sound a little like that. Yeah, so let's add in some open hi-hats. So there we have that. These are all parameter locked, so I can't use the default slice, but I can still play with the release. The parameters I usually play with on samples are release, attack. Attack is an underrated parameter, I think, on drums. Gives it a little bit more of like a shaker kind of vibe, I guess. I have like no, I just have the lo-fi effect. Play with the pitch. Change the slice. Alright, can't change the slice because I recorded them live. So I just instinctively started doing this, but I'm gonna change the kick drum pattern by clearing just this track. Thing. I'm going to add these accent trigs at the end, lower the volume, lower the percentage. I'm going to change this as well. Mess this timing up, copying it over one. I'm going to retrig this. Like that. Yeah, this is cool. Kind of funky. Yep. So then on my regular hi-hat track here, I usually just, oops, it's muted, kind of play something in live like that while it's going. Currently this hi-hat sample has a couple randomization things. So it has a random volume with a low depth per trig, and it also has a random pan with low depth per trig. So each time I play, you can kind of hear it'll be at a slightly different point in the stereo field, and it'll be a slightly different volume. Just adds a little bit of, yeah, vibe to it. Yep, and so then I have some percussion on this one. They're kind of weird. They're heavily filtered out right now. Yeah, so I'm just gonna make a narrow band pass. I just think that adds a cool sound. So I'll do the same thing here. Just totally, yeah, just random. But I think this is a pretty cool vibe. want to redo the kick drum, take it out, mute, put in a 4/4, bring it in. I'm gonna redo the snares. I love these samples. These are some samples I recorded from the model cycles. They're so weird. Got a bit of reverb, mono reverb on the snares. So if I solo them, it's kind of like a dampened plate reverb. It's pretty heavily high passed, dampened, low mix. It just adds a little bit of space for it, and it is on purpose set to mono, full mono here. I think with a stereo, just, I don't know. I just don't like that as much, so it is. Lowering the sample rate on the open hi-hat. Redoing the snares. Gonna lower the volume on these two trigs. Kind of do this accent thing that I've been doing. Lower the percentage. Raise the sample rate again, I didn't like that. So sometimes instead of open hi-hats here, I want rides, which you can kind of do in the same way. I've just got various metal kind of percussion sounds here, so it would make a good ride cymbal. Maybe that one. So I'll just add in slice 10 on just the downbeats, quarter note downbeats, and then it kind of adds a certain kind of like higher tension vibe. You can bring this in like high tension moments. A little bit more like a techno thing. I really like kind of transitioning between this kind of 4/4 vibe and more of a breakbeaty kind of thing. So I'll be got this beat where we have kind of two different like 16th note kind of shaker and perk things here, our ride cymbal, and then the kick and snare really change the whole vibe of it. So let's copy this pattern, paste the pattern 10, paste the pattern. So now we have same thing on both. So on pattern 10, something I love about the octatrack is that the pattern information is separate from the kit and sound information, so it's more like you've got like sheet music or a sequence that's controlling the same instruments. So I think that adds a really nice level of, I could change the whole sound, and then when I change to a new pattern, it's just a different rhythm, but it's the same sound, so it's not as contrasty, which I like. So something I often do is this thing that I just did where I have two patterns. One of them I'll keep as our kind of 4/4 one. And then I'll have another pattern, and that'll take out the 4/4 kick and add kind of like a, like, I don't like those. Let's change the defaults. This is just a little bit of a different vibe. You can switch between them, right? More of like a 4/4, and then yep. And then maybe I'll copy this pattern again. Go to pattern 11, paste it, and then I'll do like a halftime version of this. So I'll take out all my snares and put them, instead of on the upbeats, I'll put it on the second downbeat. See how this immediately changes the vibe. It like brings it to a halftime feel just by changing the snare. If I change it back, it's kind of more of like a, this is a little weird. So sometimes now I will add, so for this kind of halftime version, this is a structure that I pretty commonly use, is I'll have these kind of 3 patterns that I bounce between, and I kind of edit them as I go, depending on like what the kind of improv needs. So for this halftime pattern, I'll change the kicks again. Maybe I'll make it 2 bars long. So then I can have like a, oh, didn't like that sample. Let's see. Yeah, so. Yeah. So maybe I will redo our 16 hi-hats here. Yeah, here we go. Anyway, just a little quick tutorial about how I do drums. Hope that's useful for Naomi and June. Love you guys.